Hey everyone, welcome back. So happy Wednesday. We are going to move into Module 5, Lesson 3 today. We're going to move on past those 2D shapes and move into some of our 3D shapes. So I'm going to be able to show you some examples today, and I'm going to show you kind of a chart with the definitions of each shape. If you would like to make yourself a chart for reference, you may. You will need paper, pencil, and you're also going to have to be able to move around to find some of these shapes in your house today. So I hope you guys did some fluency with Miss Buford already, because it's going to help you when we move into our 3D shapes. Let me share my screen with you for our PowerPoint, and we will begin. So lesson 3. Repeat after me. I can find and name 3-dimensional shapes, including a cone and a rectangular prism based on the number of faces and points, or what we call vertices. So that is our goal for the day. I want us just to take a look at some of these 3-dimensional shapes. So what do you know about 3-dimensional shapes? Go ahead and shout them out, write it down, whatever you know about 3-dimensional shapes. I'm going to need about 20 seconds to say what you know, look at them, describe them, whatever you can. All right, so some of the things you could have said or you could have noticed is that they're not flat. They're not those flat shapes like we talked about with our 2-dimensional shapes. They're all 3-dimensional. So that means that they're bigger, they're not flat, and you can hold them, okay? They have different surfaces, or what we call the faces. Those are the flat sides. So down here, this face on the bottom of a cone is a circle. They all are solid, right? They're all solid shapes. They're not mushy. They're not floating away on me. They're solids, right? And then we can see right here in the middle, this, if you were able to name some of them, in the middle right here, this is a cube. And you can touch them on different sides, so those faces, right? So we have different shapes that we can talk about today. So what I want to do with you guys is that we're going to name these shapes. We're going to name them. So in order to name them, we're going to move into describing them and their attributes, okay? So we're going to be able to tell the number of faces they have, and we're going to be able to tell the number of vertices or sides that they have. So what I like for us to do is we are going to go ahead and name them. So I have a chart I'm going to share with you. I need to pull up my hover cam somewhere. There we go, right here. So here is my hover cam. I'm not quite awake yet this morning. So give me a minute to get myself together. Got my coffee. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna get to it. So you can see, I know you can kind of see some of them behind them, but I want us to just be able to look at the pictures, and I'm gonna hold up the 3D shape over here. Let me see if I can make myself a little bit bigger on this side. And that way you can see them with me, and you can see them, there we go, with the pictures, okay? So the first one you see right here looks like this. Turn it upside down, looks like something you might eat. What is it called? Yes, it is called a cone. So a cone is a 3-dimensional shape with only one circle or oval face. The oval or circles on the bottom, and it has one point at the very top. So the circle at the bottom, and it all comes to one point. This is a cone. This is one vertice, one point. Okay, so if you need a minute, go ahead and you can write this down. I'll also give you some time once they're all shown as well. The one right here next to it, I didn't do a very good job of drawing it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of my box over here to show you it a little bit better. So right here, you can see. Well, if you look at what shape this is right here, what's the shape? What's the name of it? Right, it's a square. And when I turn it, every single face or flat side is a square. So what it's going to be called is a cube. Very good. So our cube has, I'm going to get my marker out. This is going to help us, okay? It's a three-dimensional shape with 6 square faces. So let's count them. I have 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4 on the back side right here. And then if I go to the top, I have to do the top, which is 5, and the bottom is 6. So my cube has 6 square faces. So every single face is a square. This is a what? It's a cube. Awesome. So we know our cone, we know our cube, we now know how to describe them based on their attributes. The next one we're going to look at is this thing right here. So I can see it looks kind of round. If I put it down on my hand, it can roll this way, but then if I put it here, it can stand. And this bottom face is a circle, and this face is a circle. So this is going to be called a cylinder. So let's think about how we describe its attributes, okay? So it's a three-dimensional shape with 2 circle or oval faces on the that are the same size, okay? So the top circle and the bottom circle are the same size, and then they're connected, right? So this is a cylinder. It kind of looks like a can. It kind of looks like maybe some people's water bottles or mugs, different things like that. But the top and the bottom circles have to be the same size, okay? So we now know a cylinder. If you want to write it down, go ahead. The next one that we have here is this shape. If you look at what shape this is right here, what two-dimensional shape do you see this face is? This two-dimensional shape is a rectangle. Very good. So when it's a 3D shape and it's a solid, we call it a rectangular prism. Okay? So remember, it's a three-dimensional shape with 6 rectangular faces. Say it's a rectangular prism. What shape? Rectangular prism. Very good. And you can see remember this right here, it kind of looks like a square. Well, it is a square, but remember squares can also be called a rectangle. Very good. It has 4 sides, 4 square corners. Doesn't matter what size they are. It is also a rectangle, so it's a rectangular prism. And last but not least, we have a shape that is round. Kind of looks like a ball. But the big math word we use for it is called a sphere. Okay? This sphere is a three-dimensional shape. It has no flat sides and it has no faces. Okay? So none of these are flat. If I put it down, it's just going to roll all over. It's like those tennis balls that Dixie likes to run after when they're rolling around. Okay? It's a sphere. Everyone say sphere. No flat sides and no faces. So these are our 3D shapes that we're going to be talking about. If you need a minute to write some of these down, go ahead. If not, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move back into the PowerPoint, and we're going to have a little bit of a challenge for you guys today. Okay, I'm going to stop my share and I will go back to my PowerPoint right here. And you can see down here, I'll make myself a little smaller so you can see the shapes again. So you can see, I would like for you guys to not look around the classroom because we're not there, but look around your house and see if you can find anything that looks like this shape, okay? So go ahead. I'm gonna give you about a minute to see what you can find. Then I'm gonna share some of the things that you could have found or things that I found. All right. And we are gonna go ahead. I'm gonna type on here things that you could have found, okay? You could have found a tissue box. That is a rectangular prism. You could have found dice. That is a cube. You could have found a can. That would be a cylinder. You could have found, what else could you have found? Maybe a tennis ball. I know I found one of those for Dixie, and that would be a sphere. You could have found, maybe you have some ice cream cones at home. Those would be called a cone. I think you could have found a lot of different things. You could have gotten very creative with this, but that is my list of things that I could have found. So I hope you guys were able to find some of these things. And we are going to go ahead, and I would like us to look at some of the pictures here and see if you can figure out what each one is called. So what you can do is, let's look at A. What would you draw a line to? Rectangular prism, cone, sphere, cylinder, or cube? So go ahead and draw your lines, or just name them as you go down from A, B, C, D, and E. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds before I share the answers. All right, if you need more time, go ahead and pause it. I'm going to share our answers. So I know for A, it has a flat circle bottom and one vertice or point at top. So I know that is how we describe a cone. Right here, I have this dice. I can see that every single side is square. So every face is square, and it has 6 faces. So that would be my cube, okay? All square faces. Now, I see this one. Oh, wait. For C, I see there's a circle on top, a circle on bottom, and they're both the same size. And I remember that was my cylinder. Okay, so now let's look at this. Oh, tissue box. We just talked about that one. I know it's all rectangular sides. And so wait a minute, rectangular prism. And last but not least, this ball down here is a sphere. Very good. So I hope you guys are able to name these. If not, please go back and make yourself a list so you can start learning the names of some of these shapes for more practice as we keep moving through our shapes. So here, all right, here's where our challenge comes in. I want you to see which categories each one of these objects would go into what column, okay? So we have a globe, a block, a tennis ball, a tissue, dice, a party hat, and a can. So I want you to use the attributes that you see to be able to put it into a cube or cubes, spheres, cones, rectangular prisms, and cylinders, okay? So don't get tricked. Take your time. I'm going to give you about a minute or so to work through these and figure out what the names of each shape be. And if you want to write them down, that might help you. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, if you need more time, pause it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write in my names here, okay? So which ones would be a cube? Well, I can look up here. Oh, well, this block I know are all squares. So this block would fit in here. And then I also know, so I'm going to cross this off. Right here, block is done. Looking, oh, dice. Dice I talked about earlier. I'm going to cross those off because those are also a cube. Okay, so my dice goes there. Now I know, let's look. Maybe I should start looking at each one and putting it into the category. It's kind of hard to look at all of them at once. So let me look at this globe. Oh, well, a globe is all round, no faces, nothing's flat. I know that that's a sphere. So I know my globe. Oh wait, right next to it too, I also see this tennis ball that I talked about too earlier. It's no flat sides, no faces. So this tennis ball will also fit into my spheres. The next thing I want to look at, let's see, let me cross those off because I know I finished them, put them in the category already. So let me look at my tissue box, okay? Tissue box, oh, it was all rectangles, right? So I know that that one will be a rectangular prism. So tissue box is a rectangular prism. All right, so I'm going to cross this off. Then I have left, oh, party hat. This party hat has a circle on the bottom, one vertice, one point. It is like a cone. I'm going to go ahead and put the party hat in my, I'm going to cross it off and put it in my cone spot. Party hat. Alrighty, oops. Let me just make it smaller. Then RT hat. Then I'm going to go ahead and go over to my cylinder. And I'm going to look and see, oh, I have a can left. That fits perfectly because it has two circles on faces, one on top, one on the bottom that are the same size. So I can say that this right here is a can, is a cylinder. Awesome. So I have put all of them into the correct category of the chart, okay? So I hope you guys were able to do so. If not, I hope you learned something. So we are going to clear this. One more quick page to look at. We want to look at the attributes real quick of these last two shapes. So I want to circle all the attributes, or what describes them, their faces, their vertices, their points, and that describe a sphere. Remember, a sphere is this round, it looks like a ball, it doesn't have any flat faces. Okay, so let's look. Oh, wait a minute. I have no straight sides. Well, there's nothing that's straight about this. It's all round. Can it roll? Oh yeah, I remember I said I could roll, and Dixie likes to chase them because they roll around. It rolls. Oh, and I just said, oh, they're round, right? It's all the sides are round, so if it's not flat, it has to be round. It can bounce. Well, a tennis ball would bounce, but this one doesn't bounce. So just because it's a sphere doesn't mean it's gonna bounce. All right. Now, number 4 says circle all the attributes that describe all cubes. So here's a cube. Well, I remember, oh wait, all of my faces are square, right? Every single one of these was a square. Well, do all squares have to be hard? Remember our dice in the classroom, things like that? They're foam and they're squishy. They don't all have to be hard. Just because it's a solid doesn't mean it has to be hard. It could be a squishy foam square. They're red. Well, right now this isn't red, so that's not true. And I remember, oh wait, I counted, in a square or cubes have 6 square faces, so I know that this is true. Awesome. So this is all of my attributes for cubes. So what I would like you guys to do is make sure you can name all of our different shapes today. And if you can't, remember, always go back and look at them again, because this knowledge is going to help you and you're going to build on it throughout the rest of this module. So I'm going to clear my screen and stop here. So that was all of our information for module 3, or sorry, lesson 3. So I will see you guys tomorrow for one more lesson for this week.